Government by SMS opinion poll. This is something that is largely unprecedented in India's democracy. Is this just political gimmickry or is it a revolutionary new way of doing politics? Joining us on the show tonight, leading light of the Aam Aadmi Party, Prashant Bhushan, squaring off against him, Sudhanshu Mittal of the BJP. I want to go across first to Prashant Bhushan. The reality, Mr. Bhushan, is, and I hope that you'll be honest and candid on our program tonight. The reality, sir, is that senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have already decided that in principle they are willing and they are prepared to form the next government in Delhi. But because you made a public pronouncement earlier that you will not tie up with the BJP or the Congress, therefore you are now going into the public court just to ratify a decision that's already been taken. Is this not hypocrisy at some level? You've taken a decision, you're prepared to form the government, say so, and go ahead and form the next government. Why resort to such shenanigans, Mr. Prashant Bhushan? Prashant?
Well, Rahul, you must understand that this is a vexed and complex issue. There are pros and cons. Yeah, hi. Rahul.
Go on, we can hear you fine.
Yeah,
we can hear you fine. Please go on.
This is a vexed and complex issue, and therefore, because we don't have a majority, we don't have a majority, we are dependent upon outside support of either the Congress or the BJP for continuing in government, because if they get together, then they can bring down our government at any time. They cannot allow our confidence motion to pass. They can stymie any either legislative initiatives that we take by way of a Lokpal bill or any other decentralized direct democracy, the Mohalla Sabha bill, or even reforms in the Electricity Act, scrapping of the Water Privatization Act, which are the centerpiece of our manifesto, on the basis of which we had gone to the people, on the basis of which the people have sent 28 of our MLAs into this legislative assembly. Therefore, in these circumstances, for us to form the government is an issue which comes with lots of problems. Therefore, when the Lieutenant Governor called us to form the government on the basis of the outside support given by the Congress party, which we were given to understand was supposed to be unconditional support, then we asked the Congress party as well as the BJP, because the BJP was saying that they will give us constructive support, that what do you mean by this? Does it mean that you would be willing to support our version of the Lokpal bill? Does it mean that you are willing to support our model of decentralized direct democracy through Mohalla Sabhas, to scrap the water privatization bill, etc.? Because we have not come into politics in order to just come in government and become ministers and enjoy the perks of office, etc. In fact, this party was very relicantly got into electoral politics. We had no intention of doing so.
Okay, you made the opening argument on the program tonight, and you're saying that since this is a party of the people and by the people, Sudhanshu Mittal, therefore, for any major decision, it is only legitimate that they go back to the public court. You might not do it like this. You might not like doing things like this. But this is a revolutionary new way of doing democracy. They said they would choose candidates in this fashion. It succeeded for them. They got 28 candidates. Why is the BJP smirking? What is wrong if Prashant Bhushan and Arvind Kejriwal want to go back to the people who elected them and ask them, do you want us to form the next government in Delhi? Why does BJP, Sudhanshu Mittal, have such a big problem?
Absolutely no problem. My problem arises out of the fact that what is being enacted is the great Indian political drama. It lacks seriousness, it lacks integrity. And I am using my words very, very carefully. Let me start with the seeking of support, this letter which sent to Shri Rajnath Singh by them, right? This letter is most obnoxious in the language it uses. It says, आप तुच्छ स्तर की राजनीति कर रहे हैं, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. But I don't want to get into the bad language they are accustomed to. Let's get down to the issues. I just heard मुद्दों के बेसिस पे राजनीति करना चाहते हैं, मुद्दे. हाँ? This letter does not even mention महंगाई. Are you saying that दिल्ली की जनता महंगाई से त्रस्त नहीं है? महंगाई is not a मुद्दा for them. Probably they think so, we don't. But forget that. This has just one out of the 18. It has one element which is a legislative element, which is the Lokpal bill. I just heard Prashantji saying, our version of the Lokpal bill. This mentions Anna Hazare's version. What is your version of the Lokpal bill? Nobody knows. And let me remind you, the Lokpal bill, as talked about, is a central legislation which talks about the CBI, which talks about the central government, which talks about the central ministers, which talks about the central government employees. Does not mention Delhi in the central Lokpal bill. And Delhi cannot pass a central Lokpal bill.
Okay, you are alleging that the Aam Aadmi Party is saying to the galleries that this is a lot of grandstanding and theatrics, and the decision, Prashant Bhushan, has already been taken. That you've decided in your intra-party meeting that you will form the government. And you're also now wanting people to believe that there will be a new Lokpal bill. One just got passed by the Rajya Sabha. That law stipulates that states will enact a law similar to the one that the Rajya Sabha has passed today and the Lok Sabha will hopefully pass tomorrow. So where does your version, Anna's version of the Lokpal fit into all of this, given that Anna himself is very happy with the new Lokpal that's been presented? A lot of people say that this is just grandstanding and theatre that you're resorting to.
Well, so far as this Lokpal bill which has been passed by the Raj Sabha today, we have been pointing out that this is a far cry from the Jan Lokpal bill that had been drafted by us, for which Anna had fasted. Because the whole rationale of the Lokpal was to have an investigating agency for corruption which is completely independent of the government, independent functionally, financially, as well as in their appointment. That means the appointment would not be controlled by the government. Now, the Lokpal bill that has been passed does not give any independent investigating agency to this Lokpal.
No, you made those arguments in the past. The question is now there is a new bill that's been passed that will now turn into law. Prashant Bhushan, where does that leave your bill? Where does that leave your bill? Answer just this question. Your bill is now infructuous given the fact that the Rajya Sabha has passed a Lokpal bill already, which will now be implemented across the country in all the states as Lokayukt.
And what was the Delhi bill? I just don't know. I've been asking this question, nobody answers. No. What was your Delhi Lokpal bill?
No, in fact, this bill.
Go on, Prashant.
That's what I'm saying. This Lokpal bill does not oblige the states to pass the same version of the Lokpal bill for the states. It leaves it to the states to pass such Lokpal bill as they want. It just says within 1 year, even though that 1 year is also not compellable. You can't, no central legislation can compel the state legislatures to pass any bill within 1 year, etc. So this is a vacuous provision in the central Lokpal bill passed by the Raj Sabha today. So far as Delhi is concerned, we will bring a Lokpal bill for Delhi, which would be for the state of Delhi, which would be exactly on the same lines as the Jan Lokpal bill that we have drafted for the centre, in which we had made provisions for Lokayukts in the states, exactly on the same lines. And in fact, the Uttarakhand bill, which was passed by the BJP government there, was largely on these lines.
Okay.
Though in other states,
we will discuss the Lokpal in greater detail in part 2. In part 2 of the program, we are discussing the Lokpal. I want to come back to this referendum that the Aam Aadmi Party is doing. I want to stick focused to this referendum because Prashant Bhushan, referendums and direct democracy work in small countries like Switzerland, where the number of people is very few. Now, for every decision, if you have 270 Mohalla Sabhas, where people will decide what you want done, how will any government function in this fashion? Is this not grandstanding and theatre? Is this serious governance? Is this the way a system can function, Mr. Bhushan?
No, Firstly, Rahul, you must understand that referendums have been brought in virtually all the democratic countries in the world except two, and India is one of the two where referendums are not yet allowed at all or not yet brought in under any law. Referendums does not mean that every decision will be taken by a referendum, certainly not. What we are saying is that so far as decisions of the local level affecting every mohalla are concerned, those decisions need to be taken at the level of the mohalla itself rather than by the state government. And there the mohalla sabha, that is an
but you
assembly of all
haven't,
the
since
people
this
of that
program
mohalla,
began,
would be
Prashant
maybe a
Bhushan
2,000
answered
maximum,
my most fundamental
decide
question.
what is to be done
Is
for
it
their
not a
area
reality,
as to-
Prashant Bhushan, that the Aam Aadmi Party has already taken a decision that they are willing
Yes,
to form the
I'm
next
answering that
government
question.
in Delhi?
So far.
Now this is just a guise that you are trying to put on. This is just, you know, a farce that is being created, a facade
not
that is
at
being
all,
built to
Rahul.
show that people want this.
So-
The decision you
so
and Arvind
straight-
Kejriwal have already taken,
So-
Prashant Bhushan.
so straight answer to that. No, that's not true at all. As I said, this is a vexed question which has divided opinions. We have been receiving messages from various people, various supporters of ours, some of whom are saying that no, we should not form a government which is dependent upon Congress support, whether it's outside support or not, given the treacherous record of the Congress party. There are also others who are saying that no, we should form the government, and if the Congress party brings it down, so be it. We should at least start doing what we have set out to do. So there is a divided opinion on this matter, and on such an important matter for a party which is committed to democracy by the will of the people, we feel that this is an important enough issue on which we should take the opinion of the people, particularly our supporters who voted for us. Therefore, we have said that we will now
it is
seek the
also,
opinion and
Sudhanshu, a means
by
of
SMS,
building pressure
by,
on the
through
Congress
internet,
and the
through an
BJP
opinion
that you
poll,
can't
as well
unseat
as through the
Arvind Kejriwal
sabhas,
and Prashant
through
Bhushan's
the
government,
ward
because if you
sabhas.
do, you will be exposed in the eye of the people. Therefore, there is a moral pressure. If 18-20 lakh Delhiites say that they want to see Prashant Bhushan and Kejriwal in government, that is a lot of moral pressure that's put on your party, on the Congress party, and that pressure then stops them from withdrawing their support as they have done so often in the past. Sudhanshu.
Rahul, can I expose this farce and fraud which is sought to be perpetrated? You just heard Mr. Kejriwal saying, 25 lakh chittiyan hum bhejenge. Do you know how many households are there in Delhi? 18 lakhs 68,000. Their basic facts are not with them. And allow me to remind them that they only received 29.4% of vote. So only 29.4% of people of this city want you as a government. Now, I could have understood that I will ask them, but talking about 25 lakh people, and they do not spell out the benchmark at which they'll say yes. Now, this is the response which qualifies a response from people. A 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 response. Yes, this is the will of the people. Look, let's not defame what people is all about. People is a very serious business. What are you trying to do? You are trying to say that you reject representative democracy? Please do not trivialize politics. What I am seeing is, look, this letter was sent. I have a fundamental objection.
Why didn't you reply to that letter?
Methodology
Is
you
it not
wanted.
political decency, Sudhanshu Mittal, to respond to that letter? Why did your party not respond to that letter?
Allow me. This letter, what does it say? You respond, then we'll go to the people. Our question is simple. You should have gone to people first and said, this is what we want to propose to the Congress or the BJP. And if they say yes, should we form a government? First, you should have taken the mandate from people. Then you don't remember people. Because it's all a part of your political jugglery. You know what their calculations have gone wrong. They thought they will write the letter and receive no reply or a negative reply. They got entrapped. Congress has come forward to say, look, we are willing, because your letter, 60 points do not address to the concurrence of the Congress Only 2 points addressed to that, and we are willing.
Okay,
Now,
I have one final question for
because
Prashant
this is
Bhushan
the-
on the first part of Center Stage tonight, Mr. Bhushan. There are those in your party who believe that this is a trap being set by the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party should not form the next government. Why is it then that you're prepared to walk into what you know is a trap and form this government? You've said you want to stay away from power. Now you know it's a trap and you're prepared to walk into it. Can you explain the thinking within the Aam Aadmi Party, Mr. Bhushan?
No, Rahul, as I said, there are two views in this matter. One is that, of course, the Congress is trying to trap us. We are conscious of that. Of course, the BJP is also trying to trap us. We are conscious of that. We know that these parties will try and do that.
How are we trapping them?
But the other point of view which is being expressed is that, look, we have been, there are a large percentage of people in this in the city of Delhi who want us to form the government and who want us to at least start doing what we have promised to do. And if thereafter the Congress or the BJP pull us down, then we will be able to go to the people and tell them that, look, this is what we were trying to do, this is what we had set out to do, this is what we have done, and these parties have pulled us down. So therefore now the ball is again in the court of the people. So there are both these points of view.
Okay.
Of course, we will have to play our cards right in a manner not to get trapped.
Sir, do you reject
But by the
representative
BJP or the
democracy?
Congress, but come out openly before the
Let's
people
be
that,
straight.
look, this is
Are
what
you
we are
rejecting
trying to do.
representative
And
democracy?
that's how it's in that spirit that we have gone to the people.
Well,
No, you see, so far as representative, Mr. Mittal, you people, the Congress and the BJP have got used to a regime where they just seek votes of the people
No, we
to
have
get
not,
into
sir.
government, issues
okay,
be
time's
damned.
up.
Sir,
Gentlemen,
Thereafter,
time's
they
up.
sit on the chest of people
Yes.
and rule the people on the basis
Can
of bribes
I
received
say something?
from various
Sudhanshu, we're
corporate
out of
houses,
time.
Can I say
etc.
something?
10
This is
seconds,
what has
Sudhanshu,
been
we're out of
happening.
time.
Conduct,
Today we need
your
to get
conduct
away
and all
from
this
this kind of
does not speak
politics.
to about
We
what you
need
are
to-
talking. Your conduct about all this has exposed you. The allegations against you, the allegations against Shazia, the allegations against Kumar Vishwas.
That's
they're
a
all
whole
there.
different
And your
debate.
response,
That's not
what
the point of the
surprises me,
debate tonight.
you're-
That's a whole
yeah.
different debate,
So
Sudhanshu Mittal. People in Delhi have seen the BJP and the Congress do a certain sort of politics. It is with a certain hope and an expectation that the Aam Aadmi Party has got the mandate that they have. Let's see what sort of politics they're able to do. I, for one, as a citizen, would like very much for electricity prices to come down 50% because the Aam Aadmi Party has promised citizens the moon. Now let's see if they can deliver the moon to the people of Delhi. They're now being watched very, very carefully. Sudhanshu Mittal, Prashant Bhushan for joining us on the first part of Center Stage tonight. Thank you very much. Last lap of the Lokpal bill in the Rajya Sabha was unbelievably smooth. It was passed by a voice vote. It was opposed in the House by only one party, the Samajwadi Party, which staged a walkout. The other outfit to oppose this bill was Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party, even as Anna congratulated the Rajya Sabha MPs for passing this historic anti-corruption legislation. Kejriwal insists Anna is being misguided. The divide between Anna and his former supporters seems complete.